Hey guys, welcome to our introductory lesson on the economics of taxation. Some of the things we want to do today, we want to know the economic impact of taxes, we want to look at the criterion for effective taxes, and we want to look at two principles of taxation and how that funnels into three different types of taxes. Our kind of essential question that we'll be doing today is asking which groups in society should bear a bigger burden of the tax load and which should bear less. Every effort of a free enterprise, free market, capitalist society for the last 300 years or so that capitalism has existed has given the government enormous roles and responsibilities in doing the things that private businesses either cannot or will not do for themselves. Things like providing for the common defense or a judicial system where disputes can be resolved, or providing goods and services that everyone benefits from, like roads and police and parks and schools and healthcare. Unless you allow governments to organize itself as an enterprise selling goods and services, then there is no alternative than to tax people and institutions to raise the money necessary for providing those things. Things that we all benefit from, like an army, a navy, and an air force, a judicial system, public works programs, roads, and those kinds of things. Things that we all benefit from. Taxes are what Chief Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes once called the price we pay for a civilized society. And he had a really killer mustache. Let's imagine that we started our own society and say that local government sent out a proposition to every household that said select whether you want to pay $20 or $100 to fund the local fire department. But there's a catch. If more than 50% of citizens choose to pay $20, then there will not be enough money to have a fire department. This is the market failure of the free rider symptom. And this is one of the biggest obstacles facing the free market. Oftentimes, individuals have personal incentives to do something that is against the collective interest of the group or the common good. Think back to the Simpsons movie. When Homer dumps the silo of pig poop into Lake Springfield, if everybody behaved like Homer, there wouldn't ever be a fire department, and it's not really clear that Springfield really does have one. So how do cities get around the problem of the free rider symptom? Taxes. They don't ask for money, they demand it. Fire protection is considered to be so essential to the well-being of communities that individuals shouldn't be allowed to opt out of paying for it. So things that are for the collective well-being, like fire departments, schools, roads, the Navy, Social Security, these things are funded by the government. Ergo, taxes seek to solve the market failure of public goods. A public good is anything that is paid for and consumed collectively, like roads, schools, parks, fire departments, armies, navies, and social safety nets. But a more technical definition of public goods is something that meets these two characteristics. The non-exclusion principle, that you can't exclude people who don't pay, i.e., it's impossible to tell the Marines not to protect people who don't pay taxes. The second principle of public goods is that they're non-rivalrous. One person's consumption of a good does not ruin it for another person, i.e., roads and parks. You use it today, I can use it tomorrow, and neither one of us will know any different. This is what taxes do. You may not like them, you may not want them, you may want less of them, you may want others to pay more of them, but they are the price we pay for a civilized society. Taxes are good, actually. Even our taxation without representation bashing founding fathers knew that this was true. So allow me a brief coda on an increasingly present and annoying internet phenomenon of extremely online nerds who post memes that say taxation is theft. It's not. That's wrong. Taxes have been around since before Bible times. Saying taxation is theft just means you don't want to pay them. Okay, join the club. It's just word games, and anyone can play that game. For example, I can show you that the cost of producing an automobile is somewhere around $12,000 to $13,000. Well, then why are we charged $25,000? It's theft, I could argue. But Ford and General Motors, they aren't satisfied just getting back the money they spent on producing the car that they built. They want more. They want more to pay for things like advertising, robotization, expanding production, and yes, CEO bonuses. They have lots of other expenses, so they jack up the price to cover all of the things that they want to do. It's no different for the government when they raise money in taxes to do the things that they're supposed to do. So you see, taxation as theft is just a game. It's a mind game for extremely bored and online folks. It doesn't make any sense, and it's why you shouldn't get your politics from memes. So taxes are good, but not all taxes are created equal. And America has a very nuanced relationship with taxes. We all hate them, but we all benefit from them. Taxation without representation is widely recognized as a leading contributing factor to the war for independence. And yet the individual income tax that we pay on April 15th is a uniquely American invention. We invented it. The idea of taxing individuals' income goes back to the 1640s, when the colony of Massachusetts Bay taxed the earning power of individuals and returns and gains of tradespeople and craftspersons. Suffice it to say, we have a love-hate relationship with taxes. So what makes a good tax? Well, for starters, it should be equitable. Taxes should be fair. The problem here is determining what is fair. You might think that people who make more money should pay more in taxes, while your neighbor might think that everybody should pay the same amount of money in taxes by percentage. The next criterion for what makes a good tax is simplicity. Tax laws should be written so that both taxpayers and tax collectors can understand. Problem: what is simple? A third criterion for good taxes is efficiency. It should be easy to administer and successful at generating revenue. The problem here is asking what's reasonable. We do a reasonably good job at efficient taxes. You don't get the world's most powerful military without being efficient at distributing tax revenues. Now, people think all kinds of things about taxes. Some think taxes should be paid according to benefits received, while others think that taxes should be paid by ability to pay. Gasoline or cigarette taxes are good examples of the former, because the tax is built into the price of gas and cigarettes. Therefore, the more that you drive or the more that you smoke, the more you will pay. The income tax is a good example of the second principle, which requires people to pay higher incomes to pay more than those who earn less. All taxes can be broken down into three categories. The first one is proportional taxes. These taxes impose the same percentage rate on everyone regardless of income. So if the tax rate was 20%, an individual making $10,000 would pay $2,000 in taxes, while a person who makes $100,000 would pay $20,000 in taxes. All are equal across the board, whether they are Cletus or Mr. Burns. Even though the $10,000 earner pays less, the loss of those $2,000 will be felt more than the six-figure earner who paid more. Because of that, most taxes are progressive taxes. Progressive taxes impose a higher percentage rate of taxation on higher incomes than lower ones. This conforms to the ability to pay principle. Regressive taxes are taxes that are imposed on a higher percentage tax rate on lower incomes than on high incomes. State sales tax work in this kind of way. On a percentage basis, the person with a lower income, like Cletus, will pay more in sales taxes than a person of a higher income, like Mr. Burns, even if the sales tax is 7%, like it is in the state of Tennessee.